Well, we've finally reached Halloween: The Curse of Michael Myers, a movie that famously has quite the history with its home video releases, both official and unofficial. Hey, what is up everybody? Nick here, and today I want to talk to you guys about Halloween: The Curse of Michael Myers, on physical media specifically. And I want to give you the answer by the end of this video of what the best version of this movie is to own on home video. Now, starting this off, Halloween: The Curse of Michael Myers did in fact receive a Laserdisc release in the United States in 1996. That's a lesser known fact for most people because Laserdisc would die shortly thereafter, and it was the last Halloween movie to get a Laserdisc release. Now, this is a Laserdisc I've never seen. I've never seen this for sale anywhere. But if I come across it, I want to get it. And if any of you own it, I want to hear about it. But that same year, Buena Vista would put out Halloween: The Curse of Michael Myers on VHS in 1996. So this VHS is actually really interesting because I have come across this thing multiple times out in the wild and online. This thing is not very expensive and it's not hard to find. And you'll notice that as you get into releases from the late 90s, you can pretty much find these anywhere and they're not going to cost you an arm and a leg. But I've always loved this VHS because I feel like the cover art for Halloween 6 works best on a VHS tape. See, it's longer, it's not wide. As a content creator, I can tell you, trying to make a thumbnail sometimes with the Halloween: The Curse of Michael Myers artwork can be annoying because it's long. It doesn't take up more than half of the landscape. So putting it on a VHS cover was always perfect to me. Now, there's nothing special about this at all aside from the way it looks and aside from the fact that it's a blast from the past. And in the year 2000, Buena Vista would put out Halloween: The Curse of Michael Myers on DVD for the very first time. And I am sad to report to you guys, although it doesn't matter now, this thing has absolutely nothing going for it. Look, this was the last movie that I bought for my Halloween collection. It was the last one, and it was this specific one that I am holding in my hands right here. And I always remember this era because it has these like clamshell cases that were so annoying. No disc art, no chapter insert, nothing. But don't worry, if you want special features, this thing is chock full. It's got a French language track and Spanish subtitles. So yeah, obviously I'm kidding. That was one of the most frustrating things for fans of this movie for so long, is that none of the home video releases had anything on there. No special features whatsoever. I understand Halloween 6 was not well received both critically or commercially, but come on. Like, you could give us something. I don't know, give us a trailer maybe? Now, at the time that would have pissed me off, but looking back I'm like, it would have been something. Now, next up is what I was referencing at the beginning where I talked about official and unofficial releases of Halloween 6, and that is the producer's cut. Now, there are a lot of different versions of this that were floating around the internet and at conventions in the 2000s, late 90s, early 2000s. There's the producer's cut. There's Halloween 666, The Origin of Michael Myers, which is largely the producer's cut. There's even a director's cut of this film. Everybody was trying to get their hands on that footage that they had heard about from the test screenings that did not test well. They wanted to see the original version of Halloween 6, and this was my first foray into that. Now, it wasn't ridiculous compared to what we spend for movies these days, but 15, 20 years ago, you'd pay a nice chunk of change for one of these things. Obviously, this is an unofficial release of the movie, but I had to include it in this video because it is probably the largest part of Halloween 6's legacy on home video. Like, we all remember those times. The Halloween message board was talking about this footage for years and years, and I couldn't wait to get my hands on it. But not only did I get to see all of that original footage that they cut out of the final product, I actually got special features on here. And that was really cool. There's behind the scenes stuff, there's featurettes, there's interviews. I loved seeing that. Look, it didn't take much for me as a teenager. Just give me a few special features. And finally, a release delivered, whether it was legal or not. Now, the first release of Halloween the Curse of Michael Myers on Blu-ray would come by way of Alliance Films, which is a Canadian company, and it would be a 3-pack of Curse, H2O, and Resurrection. Now, I remember thinking many times that I was going to buy this thing, but I never ended up doing so, because not even a year later, we finally got one in the United States. And that release was from Echo Bridge Home Entertainment, Halloween the Curse of Michael Myers, the first standalone Blu-ray release in the United States. And let me tell you something. It's quite the release. Let me get the positives about this release out of the way first. It actually has disc art for the first time for any release of Halloween 6. That's it. Look, it is better than the DVD, I guess, in quality, but it's not a good transfer. And if you go back and watch this Echo Bridge Blu-ray, you will notice things that really grate on you. Furthermore, there is no special features to speak of on here. I ranted about this in earlier videos when talking specifically about Echo Bridge's foray into the Halloween franchise with this, H2O, and Resurrection, because it seemed like the transfers all lacked, aside from Resurrection, and the special features were non-existent. It was literally just lazy, bare-bones Blu-rays that they were putting out to try to make money off of Halloween fans. So, although this was finally the long-awaited US release of Halloween the Curse of Michael Myers on Blu-ray, it's not very good. And then we would get to the release of Halloween the Curse of Michael Myers, at least at the time. In 2014, in the Complete Collection box set, we got Halloween the Curse of Michael Myers on Blu-ray and the producer's cut on Blu-ray. Now, of course, everybody sought this out because they wanted to see the producer's cut in 1080p for the first time ever, and I'm happy to say they delivered. The footage looks fantastic. Furthermore, I'm happy to say that the Blu-ray transfer of the theatrical version actually looks and sounds really good too. Take some notes, Echo Bridge. It really ain't that hard. But for me, the biggest deal, since I had already seen the producer's cut, even though it was grainy as hell, was all these special features. Now, if you don't have this release, I want you to just pause that for a second, and I want you to read everything you get on there. And you tell me that those special features alone wouldn't be worth it, let alone having the producer's cut in 1080p. This release by Scream Factory was, at the time, in my opinion, one of the greatest releases they'd ever put together. This was a feat. Quite an achievement, and I am super happy that we finally got it after so many years. And once the producer's cut was out there for people to get, Miramax would put it out on Blu-ray by itself in 2015 with Halloween the Curse of Michael Myers, the unrated producer's cut. Now again, looks great, sounds great. The difference here is you're not getting any of those special features that you got in the box set. Now sure, nowadays you can find all of those special features online, but you just had to have been there in 2014 to be able to dig into that and finally see so much and have so many questions you had answered. It just meant something. So of course the producer's cut was gonna get its own standalone Blu-ray, but it's rather lackluster. And then in 2018, Walmart would actually do their own exclusive run of slipcovers for certain movies, and Halloween the Curse of Michael Myers got that treatment. Yes, this is the exact same as the last one I just showed you. It is the Miramax Blu-ray. Now, I have not even opened this thing, and I never intend to. But I had to get it because of that. Like, look at that. That old school retro VHS tape looking slipcover is just amazing. You get nothing new in the way of any special features, transfer, nothing like that. But the slipcover, it got me. Then, just like with the other movies in the franchise that we've talked to up to this point, we got to the greatest release of Halloween the Curse of Michael Myers, and that is the 4K put out by Scream Factory in 2022. Look, this thing is gorgeous, like in every sense of the word. Although I'm not a huge fan of this alternate artwork, I mean, it's not terrible, so whatever. Look, Halloween the Curse of Michael Myers on 4K from Scream Factory is the edition to get of this movie. Hands down. This movie has never looked better. This movie has never sounded better. All of the special features that you had on any release leading up to this point, mainly just the complete collection, is imported onto this disc. Also, the biggest deal for me with this release, and I was curious about it, are we going to get the producer's cut in 4K? Yes, you get the producer's cut as well in 4K, and it looks incredible. And just like with the other ones, it has that outer box, and then you have the inside case right here. And opening this up, you've actually got 4 discs in here as well. You've got the 4K, you've got the 4K of the producer's cut, you have the Blu-ray, and then you have the Blu-ray of the producer's cut. And they're all incredible disc art. Like, I love everything about that. Look, I've said this before, and I'm just going to say it again. Halloween: The Curse of Michael Myers is the best 4K transfer I think we've gotten, period, of the Halloween movies. Right there with Halloween 5. I mean that. This movie looks that damn good. Look, love or hate Halloween 6, it has a nice look to it, a nice feel. There's great atmosphere there. And like I said with 4, atmosphere and mood doesn't necessarily mean the movie was photographed well, but I would argue this one is photographed well. And with each upscale we get of this movie, you can really start to see that clearer and clearer. So that is the history of Halloween: The Curse of Michael Myers on home video here in the United States. Now, this doesn't have as many releases as movies like the original Halloween or Halloween 2, but that's because it's not as old. However, I think Halloween: The Curse of Michael Myers has some of the more rich history on home video, and I'm glad I was able to go over all of these editions and talk about them with you guys. But I want to know down below in the comment section what you guys think. Which is your favorite edition of Halloween: The Curse of Michael Myers? What is one that you saw in this video that you have to own no matter what? Whatever it is, I want to hear down below, so please chime in. I want to thank you guys so much for watching the video. Make sure to leave a like on it, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. This is Nick at the Lost River Drive-In, and I'm pulling out.